Welcome to the Books Between Friends podcast.
3 lifelong friends,
one shared obsession.
Books.
From epic fantasy to page-turning thrillers.
We dive into the stories we love
And the ones we just can't stop talking about.
So take a seat,
Grab a drink,
and get cozy.
Hey, book friends. How are we doing? How was your weekend? So for me, I actually did not do much this weekend. I wasn't feeling very well this weekend. So I basically just kind of stayed on my couch the entire weekend and like napped when I could. And I got into a new show that I haven't been able to stop watching, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you guys watched that?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It is so funny. And honestly,
It's great. Yeah.
right? It's like right up my alley with humor. Like I love it. It's like the kind of show that I'm into. And honestly, I don't even know why I haven't watched it because I know this is the old show. I don't know why I haven't watched it before, but on my Instagram page, I would get a lot of their clips. And so Jake, he just was coming up a lot on my Instagram. And I'm just like, he is so funny. I have to watch the show. I'm on season 2 now.
Already. Okay, great.
Yes.
I forget how many seasons there are, but that is one of my favorite like workplace comedy shows.
It is so funny. He is so fun. Gina and Boyle are hilarious. Like, I love them.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Have you seen Superstore? If you like
No.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you would like Superstore. So I recommend that once you finish Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay, so I'll do that. No, that's all I did this weekend was
I
watch.
want to watch Superstore. I haven't seen it.
It's
Yeah,
so
I haven't
good.
seen
I
it.
loved
Yeah.
it.
Isn't America Ferrera in that?
Yeah, she's the main character.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't actually watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would love that too if you're liking Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like
so
the same
funny.
kind of comedy.
Okay, it's so funny. I love it. So that was my weekend. I basically slept. I just watched TV, and that's it.
Love it.
What about you guys?
That's what the weekend's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Well, I went to a mall yesterday.
Those exist still?
Like right? Like an actual indoor mall.
Yeah.
And I was like, check me out. I'm on Stranger Things. But
It wasn't like a creepy abandoned one.
no, actually, it was thriving. It had
Like a
actual
legit
stores in
mall?
it still.
Oh, what mall did you go to?
The Hewlin Mall.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big one, right?
Neighborhood. Yeah, that's a big
I
one.
know. I was like, oh, that's where Jen used to live.
Yeah. I miss it so much.
Yeah, it misses you.
I know.
But no, it was fun. I got this new shirt there.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So,
the one you showed
it's
us.
Yes, the Dungeon Crawler Carl. It features Donut and Mongo.
Yeah.
Donut is riding Mongo. I wish Mongo had a little bit more feathers. But otherwise, it's a fantastic shirt, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I love it. I love them so much. They're like the best duo.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, there's Carl and Donut, and then there's Donut and Mongo. Like, I don't know of the two which one the better duo is, but I still love that duo.
I feel like Donut and Mongo are like one character combined.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
I'm so glad you got it. I told you there were so many good options. Like, did you end up going to Hot Topic?
No, because we went kind of later, so it was, approaching 6, which is when malls close on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't get to go to Hot Topic, but we went to Box Lunch, and that's where I got
Okay.
this one.
Okay. Still had a good one.
feel
When
like it's
Jen
Hot
was
Topic
here
adjacent.
for, was it 4th of July weekend when you were here
Yeah.
and we went to the Galleria? I swear I hadn't been to the Galleria in like 20 years probably.
Since
So
high school.
That was definitely nostalgic.
Yeah.
Going there.
I remember going to the Galleria for a band field trip. Like when
Yeah.
we were performing
Yeah.
at the Majestic Theater, we went to the
It
Galleria.
was always like a big deal to go to the Galleria.
Wasn't
In the
it
early
8th grade,
2000s.
Ethan? It was like 8th grade when we went, right?
I want to say 7th, actually.
Okay, well, middle
No,
school.
it may have been 8. It was middle school. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely middle school. That's when we went to the Galleria together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. That was
Oh,
before
well,
we
a
were
while
actual
ago.
friends.
Yeah. Like friends. Like we knew
Friends,
of
friends.
each other.
We were
Yeah.
acquaintances.
Yeah, we knew of each other. Middle school
Well-
is just such an awkward time. Like, I don't even, like, I try to block out that time in my head.
I don't even like mention anything prior to college. Like that time in my life just didn't happen. I hated school.
Yeah.
College is when I actually became conscious. We'll just say that. I forget everything else before that.
What did you
That's
do this
fair. Middle
weekend?
school was such a trial.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
Hated it. Well, I didn't do much this weekend either. I just spent all day cleaning the house on Saturday and listened to the audiobook of Glass Sword, which I finally got back into the Red Queen series, and now I'm on King's Cage. And then on Sunday, I really had nothing to do. At first, we were going to go to Wienerfest with our dog, who's a dachshund, but it was just so hot, so we decided not to go. And
Yeah.
so I just made it a pool day. So I
Nice.
went to the pool and I read Tough Guy. So book 3 of
Yeah.
Game Changer, which Ethan recently read too. So I was texting him about like my reactions to the characters and everything. And honestly, you guys, I think like the main character in Tough Guy is my favorite of like the leading men in the series so far.
Wow,
It was
really?
such a yeah, it was such a sweet book. I just like flew through
Yes.
it in one afternoon.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go get this
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
never read a book in one sitting. Like I've done it occasionally, like maybe a handful of times. I can count on one hand. I This was one I read in one day, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
When
Like,
you told me that
yeah,
you had finished it already, I was like, didn't you just start this? Like, whoa, slow down.
I know. I need to
I
go into
mean,
the next one, which is
it's
like
quick.
Common Goal or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know the titles yet, but okay, fine. You guys are starting to like slowly convince me to read this book.
we're
Well,
gonna
you need to
really
go back to Game Changer and then
See, that's already
continue.
a lot of books. Like, I'm already in the middle of a bunch of
They're
other
all
ones.
quick reads. They're all so quick.
I know. Okay. All right, we'll see. All right, book friends, welcome back. This is your lore master for this series, Jen speaking. I am so excited to lead our deep dive for Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I am so excited, you guys. This is book 1 of the Red Rising trilogy, and this is episode 1 of 4 of this deep dive. We have heard so many great things about this trilogy, and I cannot wait to read this with you all. And shout out to my friend Liz, who she recently read this trilogy, and she definitely highly recommended it. She has been begging me, y'all, to read this, like all of them. And I told her, I was like, if we're doing it on the podcast, you're going to have to wait until I finish book 1 because we only do it like chapter by chapter on the podcast. But she said that she liked this more than the Mistborn trilogy. So big words, I
those
Yeah.
know.
are big words.
Yeah. So let's see what we think because we absolutely love Mistborn. Like I still cannot stop thinking about the ending of the Hero of Ages. So
Yeah, life changing. So
exactly. So if she's saying
big
this is
shoes to fill.
better, ooh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'll
But
be looking
before we get
forward.
started, I am going to hand it over to Ethan for our standard PSA.
Yes. Before we get started, a quick spoiler warning. If you're listening to this episode, we're assuming you've read the first 11 chapters of Red Rising, because we'll definitely be diving into spoilers throughout today's discussion. So, if you haven't had a chance to read yet, go finish those chapters and then come right back. We'll be here waiting for you. And before we jump in, if you're enjoying hanging out with us each week, we'd love for you to help support the show. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of our Red Rising series or any of our future book discussions. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we'd be so grateful if you left us a quick rating and review. It really helps more book lovers discover the show, and it's one of the best ways you can help our little bookish community continue to grow. We read every review, and we genuinely love hearing what you're enjoying.
Yes, please. All right, you guys. So, as we always do with a brand new discussion, we always go over our first impressions. So, I will get us kicked off here. So I actually got this book several years ago. It was gifted to me by my younger sister, and I read like the first maybe several chapters, but I never actually finished the book. And not because I didn't enjoy it. I must have gotten sidetracked with other books, like as per usual in my brain. I do that sometimes. But it just happens all the time, actually.
That is brand new information.
I have got to stop trying to start like 3 different series at once. Like I need to
Yeah.
stop doing that. Yeah. But anyways, reading it now, I'm definitely appreciating the story so much more than what I did the first time I tried to read it. So much happens in the first 11 chapters. Like, whoa, you guys, like so much. And someone dies, we get a huge reveal already. Like, this is definitely going to be an action-packed book, and I'm like so here for it. I love the concept of the color hierarchy that we have. That's like super interesting. And I like that the setting is in Mars. I honestly didn't realize just how much I actually enjoy sci-fi books, but I'm definitely enjoying this one so far. So let's see what happens with Darrow. Like, this is going to be a great story.
Well, okay, so for me, I honestly had a bit of a tough time getting into this one at first. I've been on a bit of a romance kick this summer, as Jen knows, because I've been texting her all about
Yeah.
it. And also, this was just on the heels of me being disappointed by Light Wielder.
So bad, you
And
guys.
so I was in a little bit of a reading slump
Yep.
after that, and I was just finding it hard to get into a different world. And I'm doing the audiobook for this one. So I think it was just like a matter of me not being in the right headspace for a sci-fi at the moment. So I actually ended up re-listening to this first section a second time. And the second time around, I finally got into it, like kind of getting into the swing of things, and it's also been a minute since I've, been in the mood for a sci-fi. I go through like kicks where all I want to do is read sci-fi and then I stray away from that for a while. But I can see this kind of maybe starting up another sci-fi era for me. So anyway, after the second time around, I'm, more invested in the story and
Right.
our main character, Darrow, especially like with what happened at the end of this section.
Yeah.
And like the
Big.
impossible mission that he's been just thrown into, honestly, without his consent. Like he had no choice in the matter. So this is going to be interesting. And like Jen said, a lot has already happened. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see what else happened.
Okay, y'all, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like Steph, I have also been in a bit of a slump, not a slump, romance reading era. So just finished Tough Guy as well after finishing Heated Revelry and Game Changer. Love it all. So it's quite a hard turn to go into sci-fi. I don't usually gravitate towards sci-fi anyway, because to me, I prefer fantasy, and sci-fi and fantasy are adjacent. Sci-fi
Yeah.
is fantasy, just science and technology.
Mhm.
So that's a bit of a disconnect for me that I kind of have to push through. Having said that, I also, Jen, got this book years ago and have been
Yes.
trying on and off to read it. I even got so far as to read part of this section that, where there's a death introduced.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I stopped right before that because I could tell where it was going and I was not
Mm.
in the right headspace to read such a thing. I was like,
Okay.
I'm not wanting to be, I'm not wanting to feel gladiator mad right now.
Mm.
So we're going to pull it back
That's
on
fair.
that. But now that I have read that part, and then some, I am ready to dive in a little further and see where Darrow takes us. I've heard in the past that this series can be a little polarizing, like you either love it or you hate
Okay.
Mhm.
so I'm interested to see. Right now, I'm just mad. So I need a little bit of resolution to that feeling. So I'm gonna be eager to continue reading.
I know so
Okay.
much happens in the beginning. I'm just like, we just got like one of the biggest reveals already before we even like finished 11 chapters.
Yeah.
I know.
A lot to digest in a short amount of time already.
Yeah. Okay, this is gonna be a good trilogy. I can feel it. Okay. So, before we jump into today's discussion, though, let's take a minute to explore the world that Pierce Brown has created. This story takes place more than 700 years in the future, where humanity has expanded far beyond Earth and now inhabits much of our solar system. Planets, moons, and even asteroids have been colonized, all under the rule of a single governing power known as the Society. At first glance, the Society appears to be a perfect civilization. Every person has a purpose. Every job is filled, every color contributes to keeping humanity moving forward, but that order comes at a cost. Instead of countries or social classes, society is built around a rigid color caste system. Every person is genetically engineered before birth into one of the 14 colors. Your color determines your physical traits, your education, your occupation, your social status, and ultimately the life you're expected to live. There is almost no opportunity to move beyond the role you were born into. And at the top of this hierarchy are the golds. Golds are the rulers, military commanders, politicians, and elite families who govern the solar system. They're genetically engineered to be stronger, taller, faster, and intellectually gifted. From childhood, they're taught that they're destined to lead and that maintaining order is their responsibility. And working down the hierarchy, each color has a specialized purpose. So we have the silvers, who oversee banking, commerce, and the economy. The coppers serve as bureaucrats, lawyers, and the government administrators who keep the society functioning. The blues are pilots and navigators. Their close connection with spacecraft makes them essential to travel and warfare throughout the solar system. We have the grays, who make up the military and police forces, enforcing the laws established by the ruling golds. We have the obsidians, who are powerful warriors bred specifically for combat. Their history and traditions are some of the richest parts of the series, so we'll definitely revisit them later. Oranges are the engineers and mechanics who build and repair the technology that keeps civilization running. Greens specialize in computers, programming, communications, and advanced technology. The yellows serve as doctors, scientists, and medical specialists. Violets are artists, designers, architects, and creators, shaping the society's culture, fashion, and beauty. The pinks are trained for entertainment, hospitality, and companionship, occupying one of the society's most unsettling roles. Browns work in domestic service, agriculture, and food production. The whites often act as judges, religious leaders, and keepers of tradition, reinforcing the ideals and beliefs that hold the society together. And finally, at the bottom of the hierarchy are the reds. Reds perform much of the society's hardest manual labor, from mining to manufacturing. They're the workforce that quite literally keeps the rest of the civilization operating. So, that is the world that we are in, that Pierce Brown has created. So just wanted to give you guys a little background before we jump into our discussion. Okay, so now that we know about the world that we're in, let's recap of where we are in Red Rising so far. So our first episode is going to cover the first 11 chapters of the book. We began by meeting Darrow, a red hell diver living beneath the surface of Mars. Like every red, he's been taught that his people are sacrificing everything to terraform the planet for future generations. Even though life is dangerous and difficult, Darrow finds happiness with his wife Eo, who dreams of something more than simply surviving. After Darrow's crew wins the laurel for the mining production, they discover the system is rigged when the prize goes to the Gamma team, reinforcing Eo's belief that the Reds will never truly be rewarded for their sacrifices. To celebrate anyway, Eo takes Darrow into a secret forest past the tunnels of the Webbery, where they're caught by the Greys. After spending 3 days imprisoned in the pots, they're brought before the common to receive a public lashing. As Eo is being whipped, she begins singing the forbidden reaping song. Her act of defiance inspires those around her, but it also seals her fate. The Archgovernor orders her execution, and before she's hanged, Eo leaves Darrow with 3 unforgettable words: live for more. Refusing to let her body remain on display, Darrow secretly cuts Eo down and buries her. That act of rebellion earns him a death sentence, and he's publicly hanged. But Darrow doesn't stay dead. He's rescued by the mysterious Sons of Ares, who reveal that everything he's ever believed is a lie. Mars has already been terraformed, and the Reds have spent generations unknowingly serving the ruling gods while they're kept hidden beneath the surface. Determined to fight back, Darrow agrees to the Sons' daring plan, infiltrates society by becoming one of the elite. He's introduced to Mickey, who's a legendary carver, who will attempt to transform him from a red into a gold. And that's where we leave off. So, all right, you guys, let's get into our 3, 2, 1 discussion.
You might say that was the plot of the whole book.
Right?
That was just 11 chapters.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be a whole book. It's crazy how much there is just in that little section.
Like we're given so much. So like, honestly, I just feel like the book is going to be more about the journey than like us trying to figure out what's going to happen. Right. So really excited. We are going to start with 3 things that stuck out to us. And Steph, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so my first thing was about Neril, Darrow's uncle, that gave him a drink before he was hanged. So obviously we find out that he didn't give him a regular drink here. Whatever it was made him kind of like pass out, almost like put him into a coma or something like that, so that it seemed that he was dead. And then he woke up buried with the Sons of Ares waiting for him. obviously that means Neryl is part of the Sons of Ares, right? Like that was what I interpreted from that. Because they mentioned that he was chosen for his potential or like his abilities. And then like tying into what I know Jen is going to bring up later, it also makes me wonder what Eo's role in all of this was. Because as we know, just before that, she was killed for singing the Forbidden Reaping song. But like, was that also part of this greater plan to like have Darrow infiltrate the Gold Society? And like, how long has this plan been in place, you know?
Yeah.
So already so
Well,
many questions in just the first couple of
I
chapters, like we said.
know. Well, so like one of the things that I definitely picked up was wasn't there two gifts that Eo wanted to give Darrow, one of them being the forest, right? And then she said, "Oh,
Hmm.
I'll save the next one for later." So I'm wondering if like she was
Mm,
going to tell him about what's been going on and like who's been in on the secrets, and that's kind of what I was thinking because like I think she wanted to
okay.
expose this forest because like he was shocked to see grass, he was shocked to see
Stars.
like
Yeah.
animals, like the stars. So I'm wondering if that second secret was her revealing that they're all part of this big plan because, you know, she
Hmm.
was trying to get him to basically live for more, like I said in a
Yeah.
little summary.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if she was also in on the plan or not.
Right. I couldn't either.
Yeah, that went through my head as well. But then I was like, well, what if the second surprise that she had for him, I don't know why my head went here, but it just did, is that she was pregnant.
Oh,
That's what I
And
okay.
thought too.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know
I
why
didn't
my
even
head
think
went there,
about
but
that.
I was like, what if she's pregnant? And how much worse is that going to be when he eventually finds out? You know,
Right.
if that is the case.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
remember so she asked to speak to her sister before dying,
Yeah.
and she whispered something to her that Darrow isn't sure what she said because he later
Mm-hmm.
asked Eo, "What did she say to you?" And he didn't believe what she said.
Yeah.
So my thought was also what Ethan said is that maybe she told her she was pregnant,
Yeah.
I
but who
thought she
knows?
was, yeah, I thought she was going to expose like that they all know this big lie and, you know, she was just waiting to like find the right time to tell him that they're all
Okay.
slaves.
Yeah.
Which could be the
Crazy.
case too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We may never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next point is also about Uncle Nero. Like this character to me is just like stuck out to me. So before he was supposed to be hanged, he told Darrow that to say hi to all of their deceased family members. And that made me wonder if any of them or all of them are actually dead. And I really have like no other clues to like support this theory, but it's just like if there's anything I've learned from all these books that I've read,
I
is
know,
that you
right?
can't trust or believe anything, right? So now I'm thinking, like, who else didn't die? Who else is like out there in society infiltrating? And we'll talk about this later, but like, as we know, the Sons of Ares have kind of they've been trying to do this with other people. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is more of Darrow's family still out there? Is his dad still out there?
I mean, honestly, y'all, so okay, remember I told you I like started this a while ago and it was years, so I don't remember everything, but I do remember some parts.
Hmm.
And when I was rereading some of these chapters, I was like, wait, he mentioned Dancer whenever he was talking about saying
Yeah.
hi to all these people, right? He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
and say hi to Dancer. He's whatever, whatever." He said something about Dancer. I can't
Hmm.
remember exactly the words, but I'm like, "Wait, isn't
Say hi
Dancer?"
to Dancer, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I
Yeah.
was like, wait,
Yeah.
this guy is the guy that he gets introduced to later. And
Right. And
But
then
you'll
Dancer
understand
is
when you
kind
get
of like,
there.
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so you could be right. There could be a lot more people alive that we know. But also, it would take a lot for that to happen because the
yeah.
people have to be left hanging for for the public to see. So it would take a
Hmm.
lot to hide that many bodies, right? Or like
Right.
for it to go unnoticed.
Yeah. So, like, I don't think that all of them are still alive, but now I'm just wondering how many of them are actually dead, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my third point is more of a question for you guys because I don't know. I guess something's not clicking for me here. So what are the low reds still doing digging underground? Like they did mention that they're mining, what was it, like
It's like
hydrogen 3
helium,
or something like that, or helium
helium
3?
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
helium
3.
3.
Some substance, but like why? They've been told all their lives that they're still preparing and making Mars habitable for the rest of humanity to come and colonize Mars. But like they've already been doing that on the surface of Mars for centuries at this point, is what Darrow finds out afterwards when he's on the surface. So like what are they actually doing then? I guess it wasn't really addressed. Maybe we'll get that later. And like why are these reds specifically being hidden underground, and do the rest of like society, not just the golds but like the rest of the colors, know about them, you know?
Yeah. Aren't they still like whatever helium 3? Isn't that what's still sustaining this life that the golds are living?
They're
Right?
terraforming.
Yeah. But I mean,
But like for what?
it's keeping whatever like life they have going, right? Because I think that if they stopped digging or mining for this helium 3, then the life that they have will cease to exist because I think that's what keeps them sustained is
Like
my
is that what they breathe
interpretation.
on Mars?
I
Well,
don't
so
know.
what I got from it is that until you are fully terraformed, right? Because to terraform means that you have breathable air.
Mm-hmm.
Until you are fully terraformed, then you live in a domed environment.
Mm-hmm.
And until whatever it is fully terraformed. And then at that point, to me, it seems like helium 3 would be obsolete. So they're colonizing further into the solar system. So maybe that's why they need it as well. But if they've done that enough, because I mean, 700 years, my other thought goes to now, are they weaponizing it? Like, is there a threat out there somewhere and are they using it to weaponize it? So I don't know.
I guess where
Yeah.
my head went was like they're for some reason oppressing this specific group of reds more than the ones on the surface
Yeah.
for a reason. Like do they genetically have some type of abilities that could pose a threat to the golds or something like
Yeah.
that? Like that's where my head was going. Like why these reds, and why are they being hidden underground?
Maybe that's one of the big questions that we're going to get to. Like, yes, we got a lot of,
Hmm.
reveals in the beginning, but there's still a lot of things unanswered, which that being one of
Yeah,
them. Because, like, to
right.
me, I automatically thought, like, this is what's still sustaining the lifestyle that the golds have, right? It keeps them going, it keeps them alive. That's why they're using the reds to keep mining the stuff because it's what's keeping
Hmm.
their lifestyle. But yeah, you're right. Like, why them? Because I mean, they did get mentioned that there are low reds and high reds, and the high reds do live above ground, and
Hmm.
they do the manual labor, but there, and they
Right.
actually still get paid more stuff. They get paid
Yeah.
more than what these low reds do.
Hmm. And I guess I got the impression that the reds that are living on the surface are aware, of the rest of the system and that there are low reds, but like I don't know why keep their low reds in the dark about the whole system if everybody else knows what the system is, you know?
That's a great
I'd be
question.
interested to see what the other propaganda is that's being spewed because just
Yeah.
because low reds get one thing doesn't mean that the other colors aren't being told something completely different.
Hmm.
True.
So I
Right.
think hearing that may probably shed some light on it.
Very true.
True.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that I want to point out is just the sci-fi dystopian world that we find ourselves in. I regularly hear that this is sci-fi, and of course it is sci-fi.
Hmm.
But there are definitely some dystopian elements that I am
Yeah.
absolutely here for. The colors being the main thing, right?
Yeah.
They are separated into these groups, and we get that in a lot of dystopian. That's a key factor, right? You
Hmm.
have the factions in Divergent, you have the different jobs in The Giver. Either you
Hmm.
have the different districts in the Hunger Games that are each responsible
Right.
for a different thing. So, like, all of that is here. Love it. And then you also have the propaganda, like I just mentioned. That's a huge thing in dystopian. So the hollow what did he call it? The HCs, the hollow
Yeah.
cans or whatever.
Yeah.
They give it's a perfectly curated history that the low reds have received from this hollow. And so I'm just really interested in all of it. What do y'all make of this whole dystopian world?
Yeah, I thought it was really great because obviously it's like, harkening back to all of the series that you just mentioned that I've also read and enjoyed. And so it also kind of gives like a good commentary on like where socially we might be headed. So like that's the great thing of dystopians.
Makes me a little nervous, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like
you think about it, we already have subtle hints of it, of white collar and blue collar,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to examine, those kinds of structures in society through literature. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, I really like it too. Obviously, aside from the books that you mentioned, Ethan, there's one of my favorite like YA dystopian, and it was The Selection, and it has a lot of this like
Oh,
case
yeah.
system too. So good, so freaking good, and I love that storyline. It's just very interesting. But yeah, I like it. I like seeing what basically, there's always going to be a hierarchy within a hierarchy too. Like we're seeing it with the low reds as well. And it's so interesting to see like how they are also kind of fighting against each other. And then we have the
Right.
different colors, and I wonder how they are within their own color system too, how they treat each other, because obviously the gold sit at the very top, so they're going to look down at everybody. But I'm interested
Right.
to see like how some of these other colors interact with each other. Like what is that going to look like?
Well, we got a little bit of it from Dancer right at the end of this section, and he was telling the plan, and he was talking about how different colors are divided, right? We have low reds and high reds, and he even the golds, like he referred to like a group of golds as like a pixie, and
Right.
one as something else, and so it is interesting to see the hierarchy within the hierarchy, like you were saying.
Yeah.
All right. The second thing that I wanted to point out is that, like I said, I feel like we've been told exactly what the plot of this book is going to be.
Yep.
Like not just
Yeah.
this book, but the series, this trilogy,
Right.
based on this chapter, the end of this section. Because Dancer reveals a plan to the Violet Mickey of what they want to do with Darrow, and he's like,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. This is from point A to point B, how we're going to get
Here's the plan.
to our goal. And it's like, it's not a short plan. It's
Yeah.
years in the making of this
Yeah.
plan
Right.
alone. And so I was just like, okay, I feel like, now, is it going to go as smooth as what he's saying? Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
no.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we have the skeleton of what this trilogy is going to be. Do y'all feel the same?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, when I
Okay.
was trying to come up with like a prediction or a theory, I'm like, I feel like we were already told what's going to happen. So I don't know
True.
what to predict.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that basically was my thought also when it came to our theories and prediction section. It's not going to be like a groundbreaking prediction
No.
because like you said, they kind of just laid it out for us right here.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be about the journey. It's definitely going to be about like
Yeah.
Darrow's journey through doing this big impossible mission, and like what the things that he's going to have to face, all the obstacles he's going to have to face. Like that's what this trilogy is going to be about. So
We have our plan like we did in Mistborn, like the Mean Girls, like, get rid of the army
Yeah.
of skanks.
oh yeah.
And like we have our whiteboard, our blackboard moment here
Yeah.
where we
Hot
need
body.
to get our chalk out. Yeah.
The hot body.
Actually, he's getting his hot body.
I
so-
was just about to say that. I was like, he's about to get his hot body.
Oh my god.
Check.
Because
Cross it off
like
already.
they like describe him as like scrawny, right? Like a strong
Yeah.
scrawny, but
Mhm.
scrawny nonetheless.
Yeah,
Right.
he's about to get a glow up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my last point that I wanted to bring up was the absolute rage
Yeah.
that I feel on behalf of the Low Reds.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. They live a hard life.
Yeah.
And you can see like I was mentioning earlier, the very carefully curated way that they live to make sure that people on the surface don't know about them or the hardship that they have to go through. The whole laurel competition is just a way to distract them, and it creates infighting in between them, so they're
Right.
focused on each other rather than on who controls them. I was Oh my gosh. And then I got a
Yeah.
little mad at Darrow, to be honest, because he was just so willing to accept
I know.
things as
Yeah.
they are. Like, and I was like, I gotta agree with Eo here. Live for
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you deserve more than this, and you deserve to live past like 35. You're like your life
I
expectancy
know.
is 35 right now.
Yeah.
Like that's at least what it seems like to me, because he
Right.
was talking about his father and how he passed away, and he passed away at 25. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I know.
Like, no, live for more, dude. Live for
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. He
Well,
mentioned at one point his uncle Nero is 35,
35. Hmm.
and he like described him as like an old decrepit like drunkard,
Yeah.
And so like yeah, that is not a life. Like definitely he needed to be woken up, and I think that's why I think Eo's death was planned to like wake him up out of, you know, his complacency.
Yeah. Well, before I share my thoughts, because it has to do with the living situation of the low reds, is there anything else you wanted to say, Ethan, before we jump into my points?
Yeah, I got even more mad at Darrow. Even it would have made more sense had Eo not exposed him to the forest.
Yeah.
But this conversation
Right.
happened after that.
Yeah.
And he
Right,
was
yeah.
still willing to accept things as they are. I was like, no,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
bad on you.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Jeez.
There's so much more out there.
Well, clearly not to him.
Snap out of it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, one of my first points has to do exactly with what Ethan was saying, just like the living situation of the low reds. Like, in the beginning, Darrow was describing like what it's like to be a hell diver, and he mentioned this whole age thing was so crazy. He mentioned that you start working at 13 and that he got married by 16, and then he
Yeah.
mentioned how his uncle was like a ripe old age of 35. I'm 35. I don't feel old.
Yeah. I'm young and spry.
Right?
Yeah.
Later, when he sees the golds thriving in the city, he noticed people who were much older than what he's used to seeing. So, like, the difference in life expectancy here, like between the golds and the red, is just so crazy to me. Like, that was one of the first things that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
It just basically shows what we've just been talking about, like, just how shitty the poor reds live, like, which actually ties into my next point. The resources that the Greys take away when they don't meet quota to me was insane, y'all. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Are you serious? Like these poor people don't get these things because they didn't meet your quota. Like if a hell diver team doesn't meet their quota, they do not receive beef, milk, spices, hygienics, comforts, or dental aid. All they get is oats and substantials only. That's it. And if a team wins the laurel, they receive way, way more food, and they get things like sugar and fruit. And like there was other things mentioned in there, but I couldn't find them all because I didn't want to go back and reread every single page. But like it was just such a vast difference. And like those two things, I'm like, they are basically forced to die by 35, like you know what they were saying. And it was just so shitty that even within their society, like the gammas who are always winning don't share with the rest of the reds. Like it's just so mind-blowing to me.
And it's rigged. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
It's rigged.
the process of winning the laurel could literally cause you to die. Like the first scene in the book, Darrow was trying to win the laurel, so he kept digging even though people were like, "No, you're about to die." And he like nearly burnt his hand off, but he and like they were all convinced that he had gotten it, that he dug enough to win the laurel, only for that
He probably
to
did.
not be
He
the
did.
case.
He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah. They just gave it to the other team
They
anyway.
just announced that it was the gammas again, like always.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy to me. And honestly, like, you know what I was thinking when I was reading these chapters, like about their shitty living situation was, wouldn't you, as like thinking back to the society, if you were them, wouldn't you want to throw them a bone every now and then so you don't have an uprising, right? It's
Right,
like, okay, let's give it to the lambdas. I think that's what they're called. Let's give it to them this round so that way we keep
This
them
time,
happy,
yeah.
we keep them satisfied. Like we don't have an uprising. Like why would they continuously give it to the gammas knowing that you're going
Over and
to
over,
have
yeah.
disgruntled people? Like isn't that what you're trying to avoid?
And honestly, it's
Yeah.
going to cause them to die sooner because they barely have enough food if they don't win the laurel.
Right.
You know, like he talks about how everybody in his faction is like very thin, weak, like they barely eat enough. And so like what are you doing? I don't know. This
Yeah.
whole system
Yeah.
is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole other thing that pissed me off too during this whole Laurel scene, I was like, what, because like you were saying, if you don't meet the quota, it's severe.
Yeah.
And Darrow was thinking, he was like, the two groups that got called out as having not met quota only got oats and whatever else, like two things. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is Survivor. Like you have to
Yeah.
win a
Yeah.
competition to get reward. But it just, Darrow was thinking to himself, he's like, they didn't meet quota because half of them died. Like
Yeah.
a group
Yeah.
of 50 or 10 to 50 died. He was
Oh,
like,
that's right.
they're
It
not,
blew up.
yeah, he's like, they're not underperforming. They're just, they're missing people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's
that's
not
why they
enough
didn't meet
to
quota.
win the laurel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also leads me back to my theory of like, it seems like they're just trying to get these people to die off. Why? You know? Like, do they pose some kind of threat if they weren't as oppressed as they are right now?
Yeah. It's a good point. And I'm hoping, obviously, that we get more on that the more we read. Or maybe we won't even get those answers until book 2 or 3, like as per
Yeah.
usual with these series that we read.
That's possible.
Yeah. Okay. So my last point is on Eo's sacrifice. So I'm really curious to see what you guys think about this because to me, it's just my opinion, you guys. I don't know if it's an unpopular one, but to me, her sacrifice was a bit premature. Like it to me, it didn't mean anything. Like I feel like we were just starting to get more of Eo and Darrow. She was just starting to tell Darrow how she felt about the society, just barely trying to push him to want more for their lives. And then she gets herself killed. Like she wanted to push Darrow to want to fight back, give him the fire that he needed to finally fight, but it had the opposite effect. Like this dude immediately gave up the minute she died. And so it didn't have the effect that I think she wanted, right? You know, it just, I don't know, like to me it just didn't seem like it did anything. And here's why I think that. So there were two things that Dancer and Harmony said that like led me to believe that her sacrifice maybe was not as impactful as she thought it would be. The first thing was when Darrow asked why they didn't save Eo, Harmony tells Darrow martyrs are a dime a dozen. So basically like she died for no reason. That's how I took that. And then the second thing was when Darrow asked, why doesn't the son of Ares just display the lie that the society has been hiding to the Reds? Dancer says, because the rebellion now would be crushed in days. We must take a different path. An empire cannot be destroyed from without till it is destroyed from within. Remember that. We're empire breakers, not terrorists. Which I go back to Eo's sacrifice. Like if it was not used to help start a rebellion, then what for? Like, what did you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you. Like, clearly he gave up immediately after losing Eo because he decided to then go bury her body, knowing that the punishment for that was death. Obviously, the Sons of Ares had a different plan for him. He didn't
Right.
actually die, even though that was his plan. But now I don't think that it necessarily was for nothing because now he's got revenge on his mind. And even though he didn't have much of a choice as to whether or not he was going to become gold and infiltrate their society, I think that still, is his motivator right now. Even though there's nothing he can do to bring Eo back. I think he wants revenge. And like, if anything, that's at least motivating him to continue. And so like, even if it didn't do anything as far as like start a rebellion that was unsuccessful, I think it's going to matter because that's what's going to keep Darrow going.
I think similarly, I also take it a little bit further that I think this was probably purposeful in the way that this happened. Like, I think it was planned to happen this way because she knew exactly how he would react. Like, even though she was trying to explain to him, no, don't do this, don't think this way before she died, live for more, like we're going to talk about that again later, I'm sure. But I think she knew exactly that how he felt about her, how much he loved her. and exactly what he would do after her death, that he wouldn't just leave her there, which he knew would cause his death. And I think it was planned because I think it was always that way. Like Neril knew to give him the drug, to
Right.
get him to hang. And like, I think all of it was planned out.
It was the only way
Yeah.
to get him out of that, basically, is for him to die.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they had to like stage his death to get him out to the surface.
And he wouldn't die for any other reason unless it was for Eo dying.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't think about that. Like, to me, it was just more like I thought it was premature because I feel like she was finally starting to kind of put some fire under him. And I felt like we could have gotten more out of that. But you're right. Like, he would have never done anything to sacrifice himself if Eo was still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, and like even let's think about like Darrow before Eo died and like what we know his mentality was. If Neril had approached him with like all of this information and laid it out for him without having seen the surface, and then, you know, proposed that he do something about it by going up to the surface and trying to become a gold and infiltrate, like he wouldn't have the motivation for that if Eo is below surface still. You know,
True.
like
Yeah.
all he's living
Yeah.
for is Eo.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Didn't think about it that way. All right. So that was our 3 things that stuck out to us. Let's move on to 2 character moments. Steph, start us off.
Sure. Okay. So my first moment I thought was just like such an impactful moment, which was Eo singing the Reaping Song when she was getting her public lashing. So it was just so emotional, you guys. Like I mentioned before in my first impressions, I'm listening to the audiobook and the narrator actually sang the song in this moment. And
Oh, wow.
there's like no music in the background. So it's just like the narrator singing, you know, into like empty, you know, like no music to accompany it. So it was just like so chilling. I actually got full body chills listening to it
Oh, wow.
when I was hearing it. So I definitely recommend it if you can get your hands on the audiobook to at least listen to that part. And it just felt so impactful because like like the narrator did such a great job with the scene, because you could tell like they were even putting some emotion into it where she was like emotional but still like her voice sounded strong, and like at the same time she's like locking eyes with Darrow and like basically trying to get him to like snap out of his complacency. So it was just such a good scene. And you know, also just want to give kudos and acknowledge Pierce Brown's writing for this scene. It was so good.
Well, I definitely want to get the audiobook now because
Yeah.
I'm reading the physical copy. So I read the song and I'm like, oh, that's
Okay.
good. But that was it. Like that was the only
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
I got from that, you know? Like I was just like, okay, that was a song. She wasn't supposed to sing it, but she sang it. All right, let's move on.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, this part reminded me of the hanging tree from Hunger Games, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that whole song moment and just the different symbols that, you know, are signs of rebellion. You're like, yes, but
Yeah.
also no,
Yeah.
because what's about to happen?
Yeah.
Because you did that.
Right, right.
And just the bravery that it takes to do that. And so yeah, when it was chilling, like you were saying, like I got chills kind of reading it because it just invoked that sense of all of those moments that we've read across stories that we love, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
for
it took
sure.
a lot of bravery too, like knowing what was about to happen to
Yeah.
her and courage.
Yeah.
She's
Like
being whipped during
Yeah.
this.
I
It's
I
insane.
can't. I can't. It's so crazy.
I know. Couldn't be me. I can tell
Right?
you that
Yeah.
much. I would immediately cower. I'd just be like, okay.
Well, I
I
don't
won't
know
do
that
that
I would
again,
even
I
have
promise.
like voice while I'm getting whipped. Like that
Yeah, no.
sounds extremely painful. I don't know that
Yeah.
I'm able to like put 2 words together, let alone sing.
Oof. Yeah.
Can you just hold on a moment? 2, 3, 4, let's go.
Just stop for 1 second, please. Stop.
Yeah, yeah. Give me a second. I practice this.
Yeah. Got to get my tempo right. Here we go. And
Oh
a
my
1
God.
and a 2.
Good job, Eo, is all we're saying, basically.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Rest
she
in
was
peace.
definitely brave for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. R.I.P.
Okay, so my second moment is actually the same scene. So, and it just like points out the callousness of the golds. And so, like, when Eo sang the Reaping Song, the Archgovernor Nero Augustus, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, sure.
other golds immediately tried to get her to stop singing, but he stopped them and he was like, no, let her sing, like, let's hear her out,
Yeah.
and he let her sing to the crowd. And like, I just feel like that was, I don't know, like it makes it was like worse that he allowed it only to then kill her for it, because like, I don't know. It's, to like sit there and watch an oppressed people, try to do what little they can to fight
Yeah.
back, and then just to crush them like they're an ant under your feet is
Yeah.
it's just disgusting. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like this whole scene obviously had an impact on me, and especially like the scene right after Darrow getting whipped and then Eo starting to get whipped and like fighting against it this way. It was crazy.
It was just such a freaking power move. Like, obviously, he was like, let her. She's gonna die anyways. Might as well let her just freaking finish it, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
I like to believe that he got poison buried after this moment because he let her finish the song and then
Yeah.
someone used it against it and hacked the system to
Yeah.
play the full thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to believe that he got poison buried.
Because he did say, he was like, we can edit out what we don't want to show. Like, he
Yeah,
had
he
said
did say that.
So,
Yeah, but with a name like Nero, like Emperor Nero from ancient Rome, I beg to say that he's probably still around.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So my two things that stood out to me, obviously we've talked about this one already, but what did Eo tell her sister? Because yeah, Darrow asks Dio, like it is Dio, right?
yeah, Dio.
Dio. Yeah.
Okay. Darrow even asks Dio what she said to her, but and she said that she loved you. And he's like, I call bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's not what happened. And so yeah, now that we've been talking, I think probably it was to say that, that she's pregnant and,
Okay.
tell him at the right time.
I think
Okay.
it was more about what Stephanie theorized about, like, how many people were actually in on this. Like, she could have been giving her instructions on what to do next for Darrow.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
If Dio was in on it
Maybe so.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like everybody is suspect and potentially a part of this plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that.
That's what I thought whenever, like, she leaned in to whisper to her. I was like, maybe she's telling her something about, like, all of this, or maybe she was telling her about her second surprise or whatever. But hopefully we get the answers, because you cannot leave us hanging like this. Like, you can't.
I know.
Yeah.
What did Eo
And
say?
I'm going to need it in the next chapter. So if you could do that,
Please.
great.
Stat.
All right. Okay, so my second point leans into my rage again. So not only is Mars alive and well on the surface, which I feel like we probably all maybe saw coming, like something big was about
Yeah.
to happen here.
Yeah.
We're going into this tall ass elevator. But
He was like, how far does
you're
this
all-
elevator go?
Yeah.
we're going to the surface. Okay,
Yeah.
great. What are we going to see there?
Right.
But you're telling me that we as a society have also terraformed and colonized moons of the gas giants? Like we're everywhere.
Yeah.
What kind of security must you have in the Mars underground for low reds for them to have not known for over 700 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy.
that's a tight lock. And obviously we know that there's a rebellion, and so some of that has slipped through the cracks. But
Sure. Yeah.
overall, like that's pretty lock and key. Also, not only are they alive and well in Mars, but they're living their best Jetsons life.
I know. I got that
Are you
impression
Real.
too.
Yeah.
I
It
was like,
felt
things
very
are
much
great up
like
there.
seeing the Capitol, in the Hunger Games, and you're just like,
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
what is happening?
Yeah, I said it was like a mix of the Capitol of the Hunger Games meets the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the vibe it was giving me, because people were like hovering in air with boots,
Yeah.
and
So crazy.
what's
That's
going on?
insane.
But yeah, if I'm Darrow, I'm burning with enough rage to become the Human Torch. Like
Right.
I am mad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that's why he said, he was like, why don't we just show this to all the low reds who are living down there? He was like, you're gonna get people to fight back. Because he was talking
Right.
about like wanting not vengeance, justice, right? And he was
Hmm.
like, well, if you want justice, like let's get all the people on our side then. So, but they're playing the long
Yeah.
game here, not the short
Hmm.
game. So obviously they
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
to start this whole rebellion. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because they know
it's
they could easily be crushed right now because they don't have the resources to fight back.
right. I
Right?
mean, look how well the Golds are doing. Obviously, they're gonna lose.
Yeah, yeah. There's no competition there.
Yeah. Insane. I was feeling very angry about this as well. So, like, I'm right there with you. So, my first character moment is with Darrow after they lost the Laurel to the Gammas in the beginning of chapter 4. His attitude about this left me wanting more from him. I think we already mentioned this, like how he just kind of took it. He was like, yeah, whatever. I was I was pissed at Darrow for being so
Yeah.
like just rolling with it. Like I was just really upset. Like this is what he was thinking when this whole moment happened. He said, "This is just a demonstration of their power. It is their power. They decide the winner. A game of merit won by birth. It keeps the hierarchy in place. It keeps us striving but never conspiring. Yet, despite the disappointment, some part of us doesn't blame the society. We blame Gamma, who receives the gifts. A man's only got so much hate, I suppose. You think they'd share it, they don't." I'm like, why don't you blame the society? Why aren't you more upset about this loss? Like, you're basically like, yeah, it's okay. They have power. Like they basically can treat us like this. I'm like, no, my dude, I need you to be angry.
Yeah, I was because he was saying exactly what the problem was,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
was, yeah,
But like
you're right.
you missed the point, buddy. Let's run that
Do
back.
something. Do
Yeah.
something.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And also, why are we not fighting the Gammas? Like, let's go steal some of this food.
I know.
Yeah, go get the food. No.
Yeah, like,
But
I'm
like,
so hungry.
and like, obviously, yes, he's right. It's by design to like keep the infighting between the Reds so that they're not looking up at who's actually the puppet masters, you know? And like, just like you said, Ethan, he like laid it out plainly and he still didn't get the point. And so that's why I think Eo had to die.
Yeah.
Love you, Eo, but like, that's the only thing that would snap him out of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
When I read that, I was like, what do you mean you can't blame the society?
They're the only
Yes, you
ones
can.
to blame.
Do it.
Exactly.
Try it just once.
Yeah,
You know, it may be
yeah.
addicting.
Oh man. Okay, so that was my first character moment. Second one was Eo and her conversation with Darrow when they were in the forest. Like I really enjoyed the very few chapters that Eo and Darrow had together. I was just like
Mhm.
I honestly wanted more of them. I wanted more of Eo, really, not
Yeah.
Eo and Darrow, but more of Eo. One particular scene that I enjoyed was in chapter 4 when they were in the forest and Eo was trying to push Darrow to want more. So she said a couple of things that like really stood out to me.
Okay.
I couldn't like copy and paste the whole entire chapter because she said a lot of things.
Just the whole chapter.
But these are some of the main things that she said that I like
Yeah.
really liked. Okay, so the first one was death isn't empty like you say it is. Emptiness is life without freedom, Darrow. Emptiness is living chained by fear, fear of loss, of death. I say we break those chains, break the chains of fear, and you break the chains that bind us to the golds, to the society. Could you imagine it? Mars could be ours. Mars could be ours. It could belong to the colonists who slaved here, died here. If you led the others to freedom, the things that you could do, Darrow. And then when Darrow asked Eo, like, what does she live for? You know, if it was for some dream, if this was all for some dream. And she responds with, it's not just some dream, Darrow. I live for the dream that my children will be born free, that they will be what they like, that they will own the land their father gave them. And when Darrow says that he lives for her, she says, then you must live for more. And I'm like, yes, like this whole speech, this whole moment, I like this really stood out to me. Like this was such an impactful moment. I'm just like, yes, like he needs to wake up and hear these words because he's not hearing her. Like right now, he's
No.
basically begging her to like stop, you know, just like live for each other. Like, no, you got to
Yeah.
live for more. Why aren't we breaking the chains? Why aren't
Mhm.
we wanting more than the freaking life that we live? Like, people are dying at 35. Like, that's the
That's
like
not okay.
life expectancy, right? Like, that's not
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and like you just want to shake him out of it because
Yes.
instead of like actually absorbing what she was saying, he was actually offended by it. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, so I'm not enough for you to live for? Like you want more than like I'm not enough?"
Yeah.
And it's just like, "No, that's not the point, dude. Like there's more
Yeah.
out there. You have to wake up."
Yeah, it's for this whole conversation that she had. I was like, she had to have been involved more than what we know
Right.
right now. Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
pre- she's preparing him, and to have his Moses moment. Let my people go,
Yeah.
Right.
and like that's she had to have known. Like,
Yeah.
that's not
And
even a
like
question.
even in
I
this
feel.
quote that you said, Jen, there's like some foreshadowing of what she was about to do
Uh-huh.
when she says death isn't empty like you say it is.
Yeah.
So like she already knows that she's, about to be a martyr.
Yeah. And honestly, like that speech is what led me to believe that her second gift was telling him the truth about Mars. Like that's why I think like she was because he didn't react well to her saying
Yeah.
these things. That's why she was like, you know what? No, I'll tell you your second gift later. And because
Yeah.
I bet she wanted to. I bet she wanted to show him this forest and then tell him the
Yeah.
truth about what's going on. But he didn't take
Okay.
it so well. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I took from that whole scene because like he was just pushing back and being kind of a jerk
Mm-hmm.
about it. And she's like, you're not ready. You're not ready to hear
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Maybe like when she saw his reaction that he was more so offended that he wasn't enough for her to live on, then she was like, well, okay, you have to see it to believe it then. I get it. So,
Yeah, that makes a
plan B.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So we have done our 3, we've done our 2, and now we are down to our 1 theory and or prediction. So, Steph, why don't you get us started?
Okay, well, I already mentioned before, this isn't going to be like a groundbreaking prediction because we kind of
Yeah.
already talked about this, but like the way that all of the Sons of Ares keep saying that Darrow has been chosen specifically for this mission, and then like how they laid out the plan at the end of this section, I'm predicting that he's gonna infiltrate, and he's gonna get, become some like higher up in gold society. They've already told him that they've been attempting this with like 98 or something different people that they have either died or have never heard from them again. So I think he's going to be the one to finally execute this plan. And like, I'm excited to see how far he gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of have like a little bit of a twofer, I guess. I'm predicting that all of Darrow's family may not be heavily involved, but they have some knowledge of the underground rebellion.
Okay.
And the parting words that Dio had for Eo could very well allude to that. But the other part of that is that Darrow mentions specifically that Eo waited to be able to marry him specifically.
Yes.
So I think that this plan has been obvious because of that. Like that's what led me to believe that this plan has been in action for a long time, to where she specifically had to be the one to marry him and wait for him. And so, yeah, I also for that reason, I think she was heavily involved in this.
Okay.
So I feel like anything I predict is a bit obvious. Like kind of we already talked about, the beginning was just so fast paced and was leading towards an obvious path that I can't think of anything else besides the obvious that Darrow is going to succeed in becoming a gold.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know what else to predict right now. We also don't really have a lot more of the story. Like, yes, we have this huge reveal. Yes, we have like, whatever's been happening, but we don't have more of whatever the plan is specifically, like details.
Right.
So I can't really give a more in-depth prediction or theory until I feel like we get more of what's going to happen once he is a gold. Because like he's going to become a gold. Now it's going to be, I mean, especially with the titles of some of these future books, right? It's just like, what is he going to do now that he becomes a gold? Like, is he going to stay
Right.
Darrow? Is he going to be true to himself? Or is this going to change him? And in what way? Like, I think that the story is going to be more about the journey, like I already said, and I'm just like really excited about it. But I just feel like him becoming a gold is going to change a lot of like himself. He's not going to be the same Darrow that we obviously
Yeah.
have met. But
Yeah.
will it be for good or for bad? Like, I don't know.
Ooh, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you were saying that, it made me think of like maybe it had to be specifically him, because they've attempted this with other people and they've basically died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it had to be specifically him because maybe he has some gold lineage. Like maybe that makes this process of what they're about to do even easier.
Okay.
That makes sense.
maybe.
That
When they
makes
were talking
sense.
about the other ones that they've tried this with, and they said like some have been found out or we just never heard from some of them again, I took that to mean like they decided like, oh, I'm gold now, so I'm gonna abandon the cause because I'm Gucci, you know?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that actually. I just thought that they didn't survive the process of becoming a gold.
Yeah.
Because you're having to change your whole body structure.
Yeah,
You
like
have
your
to be
physiology is
taller.
totally different.
Right. So I just thought they didn't survive the process. That's what I took from that.
And also it sounds like they have to go into this like academy where it's like a basically either you survive or you die. You
Yeah.
don't just
Yeah,
like
Biscayeth up in
flunk
here.
out. Yeah.
I love this guy. I mean, not that I would ever go there. I just love the story.
Yeah, no, we would not survive.
I would not survive.
What's it called? The parapet. We wouldn't make it
parapet.
across the
Oh my
parapet.
Honestly, I don't even think I'd be a dragon rider. I would definitely go into the scribe section.
Oh, for sure. I'd be
I
a
was
scribe.
gonna say I'm
Yeah,
I'm a scribe,
1000%.
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would enjoy that for sure.
Just as long as I don't die.
Okay, book friends, that was the end of our first deep dive on Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Let's keep the discussion going. We are Books Between Friends Pod on all platforms. Thank you so much for interacting with us on our socials. We look forward to chatting with you all about this book.
Yay.
All right. Next episode, we are covering chapters 12 through 22, where Darrow's journey takes a massive turn. His transformation begins. We get a much closer look at life among the Golds, and we'll meet several characters who will shape the rest of the series. If you thought these first chapters were intense, just you wait.
That's a wrap for Books Between Friends today. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next chapter.